Well, doesn't look like we're doing anything outside today. I wonder if there's anything we can do inside. Clean this mess up. Let's do an unboxing. I've never done one of those on my channel, and I've watched other people do them, and they look like a lot of fun. So here I have a computer I just bought, an Inspiron 27 all-in-one, 27-inch, 16 gigs of RAM, i7 1255U processor. Box looks a little bad, so let's just check it out here, make sure it's still. Well, that doesn't look like an all-in-one computer at all. That looks like, oh, I remember what this is. I needed to buy a sewing machine to let out all my pants that shrunk over winter. So this is I bought this on eBay to fix all of my pants. So we're going to check it out, and we'll actually do a little sewing here. I'm not very good at it, but we'll see what we can do. Oh, there's a power cord for it too. You need those. So let's just get rid of the recyclables. Now, at this point, the cat is running around at my feet going, why? Leave that alone. Don't do that. Just, what are you doing? None of this makes any sense. So here we go. Nice, heavy duty, one would assume Singer or something sewing machine. So there's some pants. We'll find some more pants. And then, yes, we're going to do some sewing. No, I lied to you. We are looking at a IBM Model 5155 personal luggable computer like I've had on the channel before. I bought one of these in the late 80s, around 89, when I first went to college. These had been out, I think, since 84. Now, the auction said 81, but I don't think they're quite that old. Some components of them are, sure, but I don't think they were that ancient. So right now we're cleaning it up. I'm not trying to cast any shade here, but when I bring stuff into the house, I do like to wipe it down with something strong and chemically smelling, especially that screen. It's a little dusty, but overall, one of the things I do here is try and find something that's aesthetically pleasing, that doesn't look like it's been beat to heck. And then once we establish it looks okay and it's not gross, I try and turn it on. And here, it turns on. Now, this is not a joke. I did not test this prior to this capture. So what we're seeing right here is the first time I turned it on, for sure. I will quick intersperse some quick clips in here as we go through this, because I discovered some interesting things. The first one's coming up right now. So just for a second, this flashed up, and it makes no sense whatsoever, because 5155s could go up to like a 720 and a 360K floppy. Maybe they could do a 1.2, I don't know. But they were never designed for 144s, for sure. Also, this is all wrong. So it's counting up to 640K, but it's doing it in a reasonably quick way. And it's not just a number up in the corner. So we're looking at a working system now that has some weird BIOS. American Research Corp, copyright 1985, 1986, 1987. There's also some interesting things going on here. I didn't quite figure this out until later on, but you can see there's a swap, and we're doing some interesting things with storage. And it wants you to get the date right because it has to sync storage. So something they had back in the day were programs. You could load a driver and it would compress files to disk. And what they've done here, you can see on the right, there's one hard drive. And I assumed it was a 20 meg hard drive because that's what I had on mine. But this one appears to have like a 30 and a 20. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They partitioned a 50 meg hard drive. Never heard of that. Great. Right now I'm starting WordPerfect, and you can see that crisp 9-inch monitor showing you how difficult it is to actually read text. In this case, I pushed the wrong button. For those of you who used WordPerfect, it actually comes up, and if it didn't shut down properly, it'll ask if somebody else was using WordPerfect at the same time. And I answered wrong, so it kicked me out. So everything's still fine. So then I tried the PC tools, and I set up a watch here. We're going to see about a half hour of me struggling with this computer, and actually it went very well, considering I paid like $450 for this and some shipping. Actually worked pretty well. So then we're going through the load again. We're back to our menu, and we're going to go to the C drive, and I just wanted to do a quick check disk. Now we're running DOS 3.0, so the check disk doesn't work the way I remember. I wanted something closer to scan disk, where it actually looks at each sector and lets us know how things are going to see if this drive is not working. Now, I didn't open up any of this, so it could be a non-standard motherboard. It could just be a fancy BIOS. There could be extra cards in here. We don't know. We're going to get some hints later on when we take a look at the performance metrics. But we can see here we've got about 33 meg on the C drive, and that's a stack volume. So what happens is at startup, it loads a driver, and there's like a 15 meg file on the actual hard drive. But it uses compression to get you about 30 meg, and then it's using a swap utility to swap the C and D drive. So I do see a C and a D drive, but the C drive is compressed storage and the D drive is actual storage. That's that little thing over there with the blinking red light. Okay, so we're back into the menu. Did get WordPerfect to work. It's fine. That line going across the screen, that's just the 9-inch monitor goodness. We could talk about that a little bit. So monitors were expensive back in the day, and this one came with a monitor built into it. Now, you could actually go through and configure your software to take advantage of a monochrome monitor, and they did not. So remember, this is the first time I started this computer up. These are set for CGA mode, so everything's coming out in color, and you're getting a very low contrast on the fonts. It's very hard to see a lot of this stuff. So now I've discovered PC tools. PC tools are something we all had on our setups back in the day, and that was so we could do things like take a look at our files and talk about what the system had and review settings and all that good stuff. So I'm just reviewing this because I never looked at the PC tools desktop before, but I did find my hard drives, and at this point I'm just trying to do a quick scan because nobody's put any oil on these drives or lubed them up or changed belts. It's just kind of running. I didn't have a floppy to test out. There it said the C drive was fine. I kind of compressed that a little bit. You can see we're about 20 minutes in since the clock started ticking there, and there we've also completed the D drive. So everything looks pretty good hard drive wise. The other thing I kind of wanted to do was take a look at what the system looks like, and oftentimes they would do a comparison between like the original IBM XT, which this is supposed to be, and later boards that came out, and you could do performance comparisons. So right now it's looking at everything in the system, and we'll see what kind of report we get here. Okay, so over there on the right, you can see this system is a 1.0. It's not any faster than a standard IBM XT. They're comparing it with a PS2 there on the right. So you can see that in here we've got a fixed drive, 21 meg. We're running DOS 3.3. We've got a CGA adapter. There we can actually see the difference between the C and D drive, and it's still telling me I've got a 1.2 meg floppy and a 1.44 floppy. So that's pretty cool considering the age of the system, that it would actually support those. So that means somebody loved this computer enough to keep it going into the early 90s, which I did not do. Mine ended up sort of being scavenged for parts to build the next one. I still do have my Luggable, but it is in no means in this good of shape because I used a lot of the parts to build later computers, and it's set on a shelf in the garage. This is the other reason I clean these things, to get the mouse poops off. Here we're doing a relative CPU performance index, and we can see that the system's at a 1.0. So if there is any sort of accelerating hardware in here, I haven't found it yet, but I also haven't cracked the back off. So maybe there's a button hidden somewhere to speed it up, because that interesting BIOS on startup, that might just be there to give me those larger floppy drives. There might be more hidden under the hood. I'm going to open it up, check it out, and report back. So that should be fun. Get some pictures too. So this system is getting a benchmark of 5.2 for storage, which is kind of impressive. They don't list it relative to an XT, but it's running consistently with an IBM AT. So this storage system might be a little newer than what was released with the original computer. And now here we're just taking a look at memory. We've got 528K free, and you can see we've got the shell, mouse, and some other things running in memory, including that stacker for disk compression. I should note too that some of the utilities in here said, hey, if you're running disk compression, don't use this. You'll corrupt everything. I did it anyway because I'm an idiot. So here we have information about the system, CPU type 8088, I assume, coprocessor none, bus size something, date of BIOS. Now that looks like an 87 or an 89, which is 2 or 3 years later than this machine actually came out. So once again, I think at the very least this has a updated BIOS. So we're gonna have to take a look at that. Crack her open. Now we're looking at, okay, so this is a graphical representation of the folder structure on the disk. We used to use these to navigate and start programs in the old days. I was completely delighted to see that the menu system, when it came up, not only was it familiar, but when we went to DOS, I was able to get back into it just by typing the word menu, which was pretty common for the day. And so, oh yeah, now we're about 35 minutes in. Oh, I'm running out of time. So we're looking at the other programs still on the system. We've got Grammatique 4, which I guess was like an early attempt at doing sort of writing analysis so that you could become a better writer. So I have to look through the hard drive and see if maybe I've got somebody's journals on here. Maybe I've got somebody's attempts at fiction. That could be interesting. Check it out and see if we got anything. I know that when I was, going to college, just even having this tiny little screen in my apartment to work from was amazing. And although you could hook up an optional monitor externally, it was probably a while before I did that. And it was certainly a long time before I hooked up a color one. I probably went from bastard amber to green at one point, but that green was maybe a 12-inch. So, here we're on the C drive. So remember, this is the compressed volume, and we can see that we've got that menu, PC tools, stacker, and we're coming to the end, and it worked. And I'm turning it off, and nothing bad happened.